new rear pivoting system made only with car catcher material. All of you who do mushroom cap pivots on the rear, that's great. But did you ever think about making something without the mushroom cap? So I've designed cars that don't have that rear pivot with a mushroom cap, and they work just as well as a mushroom pivot. Yeah, it's a spring pivot basically. The spring pivot gives me that rotational effect. And as you see here, it's got a tilt down. It tilts left and right, and also back and forth. Now this doesn't tilt up and down as much as I'd like, but that's okay. This was my first prototype for my spring pivot. So now I thought about this and I said to myself, what can we do to replace that mushroom cap? I mean, I certainly have enough of them right here. Like here's a mushroom cap, and yeah, I know about slicing it right off the top right there and using it as a pivot, but then I was thinking, that's a little complicated. And I thought to myself, what can you do, Claire, with your 3 master's degrees, especially one from engineering at an Ivy League school? It's like, let's think about this for a little bit. Let's try to use a different material, and let's try to see if we can fabricate something brand new. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to totally work, but you know what? It's up to the builder. And I say that if you basically experiment on your own, you can probably come up with a good pivot on your own. A good pivoting system. You just saw all the different ways that this can directionally pivot. I mean, it's a free-flowing pivot. It's really nice. And it's made with car catcher material. Basically this stuff off of the car catcher. A car catcher. What is a car catcher, you may ask? You know what it is. It's a car catcher, right? This is a car catcher. And so I've fabricated pieces out of this. I've come up with so many different prototypes right here. This was like one of them. And then I had another one, right? This one first, and then this one. And then it came down to, let's see what we can do to try to align this properly, one on top of another. And you know what? You know that car catcher material is kind of warped on one side. So there's one that's a convex side and one that's a concave side. So depending on how you flip it over, it'll give you convex versus concave. All that has to be considered, and also relative thicknesses. I tried looking at a professional pivoting system right here, and I said to myself, you know what? Let's duplicate that. Let's simulate that using car catcher material. And it came to me in a dream, actually. So I was just thinking about this. I was like, so why do you think about these things in your dreams, you might ask? I don't know. I'm an inventor, that's why. I'm really good at arts and crafts. I'm really good at engineering principles like philosophy and stuff. So ergo, I should actually be able to create something like this with my brain, right? So I really don't like copying other people's designs. Like you might give me a car, like a bunch of people have given me professional cars, and I looked at them and I'm like, yeah, this is really cool, but I think I can do this too, but I can do it my way. So sometimes making a design that's unique and that makes you happy, right? So I think it's very important to try to put yourself in every car. It's cool if you want to try to grab somebody else's design and use it as your own and maybe race with that car, but at the end of the day, that's not really your car. You might have copied somebody else's design and fabricated it and created something that was based on somebody else's design, but at the end of the day, wouldn't you feel better about making a car that was based on your design? Not someone else's design, not your master teacher's design, but your design. So take what your master teacher taught you and apply it to something that you can create yourself. That's the goal, I think, in this whole hobby, to try to always innovate and make something new, make something really cool. It might not always work, and that's okay. you tried. That's all that matters. So that when you race and you win with your design, it feels so much better. So yeah, copying somebody else's design, buying somebody else's ready-to-race cars and using it as your own, that's no fun. Really, the fun is innovating and making something yourself, don't you think? And if you don't like to do that, then I don't know, what's the fun in this really? Getting somebody else's ready-to-race car and winning with that all the time is not really that fun, not to me at least. So yeah, I don't even care if I'm last place, to be quite honest, because I made these cars myself, right? So all of these weird designs that I have here, I made them myself. I can be proud of saying that. Who taught me these things? I get ideas from other people, but at the end of the day, I make them my own. I take the ideas, I make the ideas my own, I innovate, and I try to create something new. And yeah, I might not always be right, but you know what? I try, and that's all that matters, trying. So yeah, so this is a wonderful, wonderful, cool thing. It looks very similar to the actual mushroom pivoting design. And there are some slight differences, some slight variations. I would love this to be a little bit lower, right? And probably in prototype version 2, things will be a little bit lower. And please don't slay me for using aluminum lock nuts here. This is just a prototype. If any of you have steel lock nuts that you can send me, please do. I'm always open for steel lock nuts. So yeah, you can send me a whole bunch of steel lock nuts. That'd be awesome. I can then make this like the way it should be. But right now I ran out of steel lock nuts and I'm just like using aluminum lock nuts for all of this. And also getting these countersunk screws, I ran out of short ones. Like I need a whole bunch of short ones, otherwise I'll have this protruding screw problem right here that I have to cover up somehow, maybe with tape in this case, because using those little rubber pipes, they're gonna fall off anyway. So yeah, but yeah, this prototype is pretty cool. I've got 2 convex car catcher plates, I'll call them. And as you see here, this is a plate right here. This is a simulated plate. Now, if I were to do this again, I'd probably double up the plate, right? So I've got a single car catcher material plate that is holding the entire structure together. And if I were to do it again, I would probably use a double and then make it twice as strong. And yeah, it'll probably lay a little more flat. Like this is not laying as flat as I'd love, but it's still pretty good. And yeah, for a first prototype, pretty darn cool. The fact that I did this without the stupid mushroom cap, so cool. So yeah, I like it. Very, very cool. And yeah, it simulates all the directional movement. It's a little more free-flowing than a mushroom pivot actually. So yeah, pretty cool. So I encourage you to look at the video again and just study it, and you can probably fabricate your own car catcher rear pivoting system. Yeah, mushroomless pivot, awesome. So if you like this video, everybody, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you, bye.